any free agent or any addition you're talking about now, significant, a player you want to come in and play minutes right away, there needs to be a corresponding move because that rotation spot just doesn't exist at the moment. So, certainly DiVincenzo, I was told that there's significant support there from influential people in terms of signing DiVincenzo as a free agent, bringing him over here. I think that it depends on obviously what he decides with his player option first and foremost, but I think they're assuming he's going to be a free agent. They want to try, I think, to work something out in a perfect world, but you got to figure out who's moving out. So I would assume that depends on if they feel like they have a deal for Obi Toppin or another rotation player, or, they can move several players out and create a spot for a player like DiVincenzo. But I believe that the interest is there. It's significant enough where I think they would, pursue the opportunity, see what was going on with DiVincenzo. But yeah, you need to open up the spot there. John, when you hear the name Donte DiVincenzo, your thoughts on him as a potential fit here? What do you see?
I think he's a fit on any roster in the league. I mean, other than the fact that he's a little bit undersized for a wing, and really even that's not that big of a knock because he could defend. I mean, he's more of a splash play defender in terms of the steals he gets, and I like his off-ball activity. He's not a guy you're going to put on, the other team's most threatening, perimeter player, but he could defend. He obviously could shoot. If you take out the one injury-riddled year he had, his career has been a pretty steady progression as a shooter, as a passer, and I think he's coming off the best season of his career. What I like about him is the versatility when you sign a guy like this to $12 million, I'm assuming it's going to be the full non-taxpayer mid-level to that contract. Like, that's a nice asset to have. And you're always going to be able to stick that player in your rotation, even if you have, some other moving parts. Where I think the DiVincenzo the conversation gets interesting, and you just touched on it, is it's really not a conversation about him or about whoever you sign with the mid-level. It's about what is the corresponding roster move. And that's why I think what Tim just said a minute ago was so on point, because the smart money says just be patient this summer. Don't do the stupid thing, which the Knicks historically have always done. And at the same time, I wonder, is there a place for them, because they have this mid-level, maybe go out and sign a guy like DiVincenzo to and Knicks fans are not going to want to hear this, but to swap out, an RJ Barrett and maybe some of these protected picks for a marginal upgrade, because you have a way to replace, that spot with someone else, or maybe an RJ, and whether it's a Grimes or a Quickly. Now that's obviously you're sending those players out. That's not marginal. That's significant. And then we get into the same conversation we're just having. It's like, okay, well, if there's no star to go hunt for, what are you doing? It creates some interesting questions, I guess. And I'm curious what conversations their front office is having about how do we make the most of the asset base that we have right now and all of the resources that we have available to us.